A major shift is shaking the Western military alliance. Once the F-35 fighter jet symbolized NATO unity and technological dominance, but that consensus is unraveling. Today, August 11, 2025, several U.S. allies are canceling or reviewing their F-35 commitments. Spain has pulled out, choosing European-made jets. Switzerland's parliament is moving to cancel a $9.1 billion deal, and Canada is reconsidering its order for 88 fighters. Even Germany and Portugal are voicing doubts, threatening what was once a cornerstone of their defense plans. These moves are sending shockwaves through defense ministries and industry. The F-35 was meant to bind allied air forces together, but pulling out now signals a loss of faith in U.S. reliability. The domino effect is real. Each cancellation emboldens others to question their own commitments. At the heart of this is a growing perception. America's leadership is unpredictable, and its economic penalties are straining trust. More allies are asking, can we depend on a partner who punishes us economically, then expects us to buy their most expensive weapons? For some, the answer is increasingly no. Why are allies backing away from the F-35? The answer lies in Washington's recent policies. President Trump has demanded NATO members boost defense spending to 5% of GDP, a huge leap from the previous 2% guideline. Many European nations are struggling to meet even the old target, fueling tension. Trump's public rebukes and threats, like encouraging Russia to attack delinquent NATO members, have shaken the alliance's core principle of collective defense. The situation escalated with steep new tariffs, including a 39% tariff on Swiss goods, directly triggering Switzerland's F-35 cancellation. The threat of more trade penalties hangs over other allies, making U.S. defense deals politically toxic. Allies now see the F-35 as a tool of American leverage, not partnership. Relying on a single U.S. system could leave them vulnerable to political pressure or supply cutoffs. This has fundamentally changed how governments weigh the risks of buying the F-35. The F-35 Lightning II is more than a fighter jet. It's the most expensive weapon system ever built. Developed by Lockheed Martin, it boasts stealth, advanced sensors, and real-time data sharing, designed to be the backbone of Allied air forces. But the costs are staggering. $1.8 trillion for the US alone, and over $100 million per jet for buyers. Maintenance and upgrades multiply the expense, making it a monumental commitment. The F-35's main selling point was interoperability. 19 allied nations sharing logistics, training, and tactics for seamless joint operations. Opting out means stepping away from this integrated ecosystem with real operational consequences. The program also supports tens of thousands of jobs across the US and partner countries. But as political tensions rise and costs soar, even these economic benefits are being questioned. Allies are now weighing the risks of over-reliance on a single American-controlled platform. The F-35's promise of unity is now overshadowed by doubts about U.S. reliability. The search for alternatives is accelerating. Allies' hesitation is driven by a mix of financial and strategic anxieties. Costs have soared. Switzerland's deal jumped from $6.25 to $9.1 billion, made worse by new U.S. tariffs. European leaders are asking, why fund American defense contracts while their own industries are penalized? The unpredictability of U.S. policy under Trump is a major liability for a decades-long weapons commitment. Allies need certainty, access to parts, updates, and support, but Trump's transactional approach undermines that. Public criticism from Washington makes it politically toxic for leaders to justify buying American jets. It looks less like partnership, more like capitulation. This empowers opposition parties and critics who argue for more independent defense policies. The strategic landscape has changed. Some allies question if the F-35 is the right tool, given its political baggage. Spain, for example, needs a carrier-capable jet, but is now weighing that need against the goal of strategic autonomy. The risk of being tied to an unreliable partner is starting to outweigh the jet's advantages. For many, diversifying procurement and reducing dependence on U.S. technology is now a priority. The F-35's future in Europe is more uncertain than ever. In response, Europe is rallying around strategic autonomy. Buy European is the new mantra. Spain's rejection of the F-35 comes with a defense budget that directs 87% of funds to Spanish companies, shutting out major U.S. acquisitions. European alternatives like the Eurofighter Typhoon, Dassault Rafale, and Saab Gripen are gaining traction. The Future Combat Air System, FCAS, led by France, Germany, and Spain, aims to create a sixth-generation fighter and secure Europe's defense future. This isn't just about jets, it's about armored vehicles, ships, and cybersecurity too. The EU is pushing for a unified European defense market, reducing reliance on US suppliers. The F-35 fallout is accelerating a shift that could reshape the global arms market for decades. Not all allies are abandoning the F-35, some are doubling down. The UK, Belgium, and Denmark have all expanded their F-35 fleets, seeing its advanced capabilities and US integration as essential. For these nations, close military alignment with the US remains the bedrock of security. A recent US-EU trade deal included a commitment to buy more American weaponry, boosting F-35 sales. For some, fulfilling this deal is a strategic necessity, despite political friction. Europe is now split. Spain and Germany prioritize autonomy, while the UK and Belgium deepen transatlantic ties. The threat from Russia keeps some focused on US technology, while others see American unpredictability as the bigger risk. The alliance is divided, with each country making its own calculation. The F-35 remains a symbol of both unity and division. The future of NATO air power is anything but settled. The F-35 divide threatens NATO's core strength interoperability. The program was meant to unify allied air forces, but as key members opt out, NATO risks becoming a patchwork of incompatible jets. European fighters like the Eurofighter and Rafale are capable, but lack the F-35's stealth and networked systems. This could create a two-tier alliance, with communication gaps and logistical headaches in a crisis. Spain's Navy, for example, may lose its carrier-based air power without the F-35B, highlighting the operational impact of these decisions. Beyond hardware, the split erodes political cohesion. Defense procurement is a statement of strategic alignment. Choosing European over American systems signals a deeper rift, potentially forming new blocs within NATO. The alliance's ability to act decisively in a crisis is now at risk. The F-35 fallout has brought the alliance to a crossroads, exposing a fundamental debate about Europe's security future. One vision keeps Europe tied to US military power, relying on American technology and guarantees. Supporters argue the US remains indispensable, and platforms like the F-35 are vital for credible defense. The other vision calls for European strategic autonomy, seeing US unpredictability as a permanent reality. For these leaders, investing in European jets and projects like FCAS is about sovereignty, not just industry. The path Europe chooses will reshape the global defense industry and NATO's cohesion. A more autonomous Europe could be stronger, but risks drifting from the US and weakening the alliance. The F-35 controversy is a symptom of a deeper crisis of trust in the West. Decisions made today are about more than jets. They define the future of the alliance. Whether these cracks can be repaired or become a permanent divide remains to be seen.